Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem. Barry, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Pretty good, actually. Just give me a few seconds here. I've got to save a file, and then we will get off and running here. And
awesome.
I cannot see your video. Can you turn your video on so we can, because people don't want to see me. They want to see you.
Let me see if I can figure this out.
They want to see. They want to see our guest. Nobody wants to see me in my Mickey Mouse Hawaiian shirt.
They probably don't want to see me either. Let's see. Video.
There we are. Something's working. There we are.
Right.
Okay. And we are live here on our world-famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast, coast to coast and border to border on iHeartRadio, and also AM/FM, 247.com. Tune in, iTunes, and, of course, Radio Loyalty with us today. And we've got Benny Leverton with us today. He joins us live here on our big program. So Benny, tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend.
What do you want to know?
Tell us.
For a very long time.
Yes.
Started back in around 1962 to be exact. That was
fantastic.
Before the Beatles came over, by the way.
Fantastic. So, how did you get interested in the music thing?
I was drawn to it just from listening to the radio a lot, and of course my parents had some early records and stuff, and Elvis caught my ear, and then I started listening to some of their albums and stuff, which they had stuff that was more on the countryside back then, but in those early days of radio, there wasn't genres. It was all just one thing, you know. So I would hear an Elvis song, and then you might turn around and hear something by someone like Burl Ives, or or Porter Wagoner. But they had albums, and I'd listen to those, and I got really interested in it, so they bought me my first guitar when I was 10, which that was in '62. And
awesome.
I started trying to figure out a little bit on my own. I took a couple of lessons, but I was already figuring out chords and stuff. And great story here. My uncle, who was a professional baseball player, and he had got called up to the Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals in '62, and he had a nice electric guitar and a neat amp, you know. So he had taken an interest in my playing, and he told Mom and Dad, he said, "I'm going to leave this guitar for Benny while I'm gone." Because I know he's getting into guitar, and he said, I think he might be able to play this thing. So
that's awesome.
That was my first really hook. When I started playing that thing, as compared to my acoustic that they had bought me, it was night.
It is. You know,
that actually chord that thing without my fingers bleeding and stuff. You know.
It seems to be a night and day kind of thing there, Benny.
It was, yeah, and I just went, wow, this is really fun. So they couldn't get me off of it. And I was playing Little League sports at the time, but I would come in from school, I would grab that guitar and turn on that amplifier and bang away, you know. And that's pretty much how I really got started into guitar.
That's awesome.
Just kept building and practicing, and they couldn't keep me off of it. So that's how I spent my afternoons after baseball practice or football, whatever season it was.
So
when he came back, when he came back for the winter after baseball season was over, he let me keep that guitar for another couple of years, and then he finally got it back after my parents were forced to get me one.
That's awesome.
Because I wasn't going to be without one after that.
So, okay, so you're doing the music thing. How did you get to the point where you are now with some of the different things that you're doing?
I got I went into junior high school with pretty good. I would say I could play, about any songs that I hear, or just follow along with them. And so I go into junior high school, and the first day of junior high school, they seated us alphabetically. And the L's, which Leverton, I was sitting by two guys whose last name ended in an H, which was some of my childhood friends that I met that first day, and a guy sitting behind me, his name was Steve McKinney. So you had L's and H's all sitting there. And the teacher started asking us what we, some of our interest in all this, and they raised their hand, and it got to them, and they said, well, we like music. We're guitar players, and one guy was a drummer. I said, I play guitar. Well, that very first day of seventh grade, we started a band. We'd never played with each other or nothing, but we were gonna.
That is phenomenal.
And we did. And that was pretty neat. And ended up being lifelong friends of mine. Three of those guys are still alive. One of them's passed, but we played in bands all through high school together, and had some great times, and done some writing and playing, and that's how it all started. Once I was into junior high school, I started playing trumpet in the high school band. As all of us did. Every one of those guys I just mentioned, we all played horns in high school. And so that led into a full-blown horn band, which then would have been like in the early 70s. And we was playing stuff like Chicago and Blood, Sweat, and Tears and The Ides of March and all those good horn songs, plus all of the Motown stuff, or I should say the R&B stuff from back then was a lot of the Tams. You remember the Tams?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Those great horn songs. We were tearing that stuff up, and that's how I got my, I guess addiction would be a good word to call it. We just played music all through high school, and then after graduation and we got out, and I knew what I wanted to do, so met some other guys, and we put a band together. I think it was in '74. I met these guys that I had known, most of them through the town that we grew up in there in Gadsden, Alabama, and we started playing a lot of Southern rock, Allman Brothers, Marshall Tucker Band, and Outlaws, and some Skinner stuff, but we were really into writing. That band was, and the first name of that group we ended up being called the Gambler Band, but it quickly changed to Tin Pan Alley. And that band was, we toured all over with that group, and stayed together. Well, I stayed with them for 10 years. And they went on and stayed together another 10 years after that, and had a lot of regional success. And about that time, when I left them, I had met my current wife, Miss Paula. We put our own band together, which ended up, and now we're the Leverton Brothers Band. With my brother and her. And we've written a lot, and had a chance to go record some in Nashville and play all over, and that's kind of where we are now with our band. And I've just accepted a position with back to my roots with a horn band out of Gadsden, Alabama, called the Ten Times, and they're very well known and renowned rhythm and blues band. They got some stuff on some of the beach music charts right now, and we're in the process of writing and doing some recording with those guys. So that's gonna be a lot of fun for me, getting back to my roots and playing in a 10-piece horn band.
Awesome. So where do we find some of the, is any of the music available online anywhere or anything like this?
Oh yes. Yeah. It's on, of course, all the digital outlets. Like iTunes and Spotify, Google Play. Just about all of those digital outlets have our latest EP, especially, which is the Leverton Band. I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll try to hold it up there.
Yep, right there.
Leverton Band, and you can get that, or if you email me at bennyleverton@gmail.com and request one, I'll be glad to take care of it. We can get our guys to mail them out. We do that too. If you want a hard CD copy, but you can download them from those digital sites. CD Baby has them. There's so many of those digital sites, it's hard to keep up with all of them.
Yes, indeed.
Whoever your favorite one is should have it.
Well, fantastic. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. Benny Leverton is with us. And so, Benny, do you have social media or anything where people can become fans of your music or anything?
We do. Absolutely. We're on Facebook at Leverton Brothers Band. We're on Twitter at Leverton Band. And that's about the only two that we populate quite a bit. We're on Instagram, but I don't really use it that much, at Leverton Band also. We do most of our stuff on Facebook, and if I'm doing newsletters or reach outs, I use FanBridge, which kind of shoots them out to all of those social media platforms. But yeah, we're there. Just look us up. I'm also there, Benny Leverton, on Facebook and Twitter. I have my own personal page as well as the band page, which I usually maintain. I do get some help from other folks on some of that stuff, some of our other members.
Good stuff.
Help me out with it a little bit.
Well, I appreciate you making time for us today, being here with us and chatting with us. But Benny, have yourself a good afternoon, sir.
Thank you for having me. I really
Thank you, Benny. Appreciate it, brother.
I really do. Thank you.
Thank you, man. There he goes, Benny Leverton. And we are going to take a time out. When we come back, we have got more on the other side. It is world famous Jiggy Jaguar.